Start before that Collective Soul, Lincoln Park on the way, Shinedown and Metallica. So it's Monday. We're all recovering from Super Sunday. If you are a New Orleans Saints fan, congratulations. And you know, for those of you who just wanted a decent game, yeah, that's 2 years in a row that we got a decent Super Bowl, so to speak. And you know, if it weren't for the fact that I only got 3 out of 4 in my parlay that everybody's heard about, because I was so close. Come on, man. You can't tell me the Saints and the Colts couldn't cover 57 points. Give me a break. So in the studio with me, it's our distinct pleasure to have Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighter fame. Also, formerly no use for name, Jackson United. Hold on, I'm me first in the gimme, so I'm a big fan of.
Thank
and there's
you.
one more I'm missing, Chris.
Well,
within the last 5 years, what am I missing?
Within the last 5 years, I think you covered it. I think that was pretty much it. I mean, we could get into like Rat Pack and Lost Kittens, but that was in high school.
Right. No, I
That
thought
was a few
there was.
years ago.
You sure? Maybe I'm right.
I played on my brother's record called Viva Death. Maybe that's what.
Yeah, that's probably the one I'm thinking of. So, you know, let's find out why are you in Reno this week?
I'm trying to figure that out for myself. I'm out here. I'm out on tour right now, doing this little acoustic solo tour thing.
Right.
And it's me and my good friend Tony Slive from No Use for a Name.
Right.
And we've started this tour a few nights ago in Seattle, and we're just kind of working our way down to Southern California.
Nice. It's got to be, you know, it's funny how many of the musicians have been around, specifically bigger bands, and we talk about this all the time because your background coming from the punk scene, I know you spent some early days with Fat Records and all that other stuff. How many of those guys have persevered and really have kind of come into the mainstream and become successful musicians? And we were having this conversation when with Will, the new singer for Alice in Chains, who was with Neon Christ in Atlanta, and we were talking about how the whole DIY thing, and when you went out and you really humped it, and you went out there, and it wasn't about tour buses, and it wasn't about, well, if we're not playing to 1,000 people, we don't want to do the show. It was like going out and entertaining. How many of you are still out there and being successful musicians and being able to step back and do acoustic stuff now, much like Kevin Seconds does here, right here in Reno?
Well, you know, it's a pretty, you know, I lead a pretty lucky life. You know, I've been through the years, the bands I've been fortunate to play with, and the success that's come with that has been amazing.
Right.
So to go out and do a little tour like this it's a lot of fun, you know, because I don't have an album that I'm like promoting.
Right.
I don't even have T-shirts or anything. I'm not
No
selling.
pressure.
There's no like nobody knows the music. If I get 30 people in a bar, like I'm stoked.
You're stoked.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's the other thing too is it's a lot easier than corralling a bunch of buddies together and renting a van and kind of having to, you know, make it. Putting a band together is difficult. Going out and just picking up your acoustic guitar, it's like a road trip more than a tour. And I realized when we were driving to Seattle the other night, like for all the years I've toured around all over the country, I was like asleep most of the time. I never drove.
Well,
you know?
sure.
So I'm like seeing places and seeing the sights in a way that I have kind of never really experienced before. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I know when we met several years back at Tampa, I've gone on these airwaves when I moved here several months ago, and anytime the Foo Fighters would come up, I mean, I know you're a big part of that. I have always said, and there's not one person in this town that can't say I haven't said this, that out of all the bands I've met in my many years in radio and on the band scene, I have never met a more down-to-earth, let's say, quote-unquote, big arena-sized rock band than when we did the meet and greet with you with my old station in Tampa. I mean, it was, as soon as we went in there, you were timely, spent a lot of time with our listeners. Dave made the rounds, started a conversation with us, and all we did was talk about the old Scream days up in D.C. and that. And he made his rounds, came back to us, and all of you were just, we didn't feel like we got the brush.
Right on.
And,
right on.
you know, and that's where, you know, I think it's deserved success. And I was happy when I was doing some research to see what you've been up to, how, you know, a few records back, was it Jackson United that they came in and helped you out with the drumming?
Yeah. Dave and Taylor both. You know, we went in to go record, and the guy that we had playing with us at the time just sort of didn't work out in the studio.
Sure.
And Dave happened to drop by because we own the studio that the Foo Fighters do in LA where we make our records, and he just happened to drop by that day. You know, he comes down there a lot. It's just down the street from his house, and I just told him what was going on. And he goes, "Dude, I'll play drums on your record." He goes,
Nice.
"Call Taylor too. You know, get him down here. We'll both do it." And
Right.
they both did. They came in. They both banged out like 8 songs. And
Nice.
It was amazing. It
So
sounded
do you-
a lot better, believe me.
Oh, right. I'm sure all there.
You know, as a total aside from that, but you know, mentioning Scream, you reminded me of this. Did you by any chance watch that SNL over the weekend?
No.
Oh my God. There's a skit on there that Dave plays drums. It's supposed to be like this guy's daughter's wedding.
Okay.
And he gets his old band back together, and his old band are a bunch of they were like his punk rock band from the early 1980s.
Right.
It's the funniest thing it's the funniest Saturday Night Live skit.
I'll go search it up on YouTube. All right.
Highly recommend it. It's
really
unbelievable. Yeah. If
nice.
you're a fan of that kind of music, they nail the vibe. It's perfect.
Really.
It sounds like 1982.
Well,
East Coast hardcore or something. I mean, it's just perfect.
Was it any of the old cats from that scene?
No, it was Dave.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just saying
but the other guys were just SNL cast.
Oh, no kidding.
So
I'll definitely
funny.
check that out. Well, we talked, before about Scream in the old days, and they toured Florida. And it's again, it just goes back to wow, it's so good to see some of these faces and names still out there and successful. Now, do you have any plans to record your solo stuff?
I do. I'm actually I've been recording it for the last couple of months.
Okay.
I thought I would be done by the time this tour came up because we planned it a couple months ago.
Sure.
But these things never really work out the way you think they are, and so I got a few more things I got to do when I get home, and hopefully we'll get the record out pretty soon.
Nice,
It's just about done.
Cool.
About done.
Well, we're speaking with Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters, and No Use for a Name. I mean, that's his former bands, Jackson United and a million other bands. So the recent news is that you guys did the best of obviously with the Foo Fighters, and you have a lot of time off. Is this filling the gap? Is this doing it for you?
Yeah, well, I spent about a year at home with my family, which was great, and then I just started getting that itch, and I had a bunch of songs, and I just wanted to go record them and finish them up. That's kind of how I operate. Like if I don't have a deadline or something coming up, then I'll procrastinate these things forever. So I got in the studio with some buddies, and Derek over here in the corner is one of them,
cool,
playing keyboards with me, but. And so we've just been working on getting this record done, and it's been good. It's been good time off. It'll be exciting to get back to work with Foos, but I don't think that's going to happen for a little while. Probably not to the end of the year. Or something.
Yeah, well, I thought I heard that. Wasn't there a new baby? In the family.
There's been a couple.
Couple new ones.
I think. I know Dave. They had another baby, and Taylor had another baby, and we've all got kids, and it's nice to be home.
Now, are you based? Are you in the Bay Area still, or?
No, I'm down in LA.
You're down in LA?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Home of the body bag.
There you go. All right. Well, Chris is going to perform for us. What are you going to do for us?
I'm going to do a song, a new song that will eventually be out on my new record.
Okay.
And it's called Not Going Down Alone.
Okay, well, we're going to do a quick commercial break here. We'll be back with Chris Shiflett of the Foo Fighters fame, and he's playing tonight at the Underground. Also appearing with him, Tony Sly, who is still a part of No Use for a Name, and you can catch them tonight. I'm sure tickets are still available. The Underground, just a great place. Let's see, what's the address? 555 East 4th Street. If you need any info, dial me up here at 793-1045. Back in a few.